Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
So, Jacine, I heard this rumor that you're going to be leading the podcast all the way through February.
I am. I'm so excited.
Tell us your plans. Tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, so ladies, beautiful sisters, we are going to be talking about grit and grace. And just if you think about the definition of grit, I looked it up. Yeah, and it says courage and resolve, strength of character. And we all know that y'all have grit. You totally have grit because you have that strength of character. It's a firmness of mind or spirit. It's unyielding courage in the face of hardship or danger, whichever that looks like. And man, I'm sitting here looking at Beth and Jen, and I know a little bit about your stories. You know a little bit about my stories, but haven't we all been through it? And that's the grit part. And then the grace part of it is, through God's grace or our Creator's grace, we get to transform our thinking, and it results in a renewal of our mind and our heart. And through grace, we live the kind of life that we were meant to live. And we get to experience life the way we were created to experience it. And that's the grace part. And I think oftentimes we get caught up in the grit of it all. But there's also got to be that grace part. So I'm excited. We're going to be sharing stories because I'm the story girl. I learn through stories and I love people's stories. I love your stories. And on the 50/50 Girl Club page, just share your story. Tell us a little bit about the grit that you've had to go through. And then share a little bit about the grace that you've been able to experience through those grit times. What did that look like? And we're just going to have a month of just sharing. We're Friendship February. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Can we call it
Friendship February? I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Friendship February. That's beautiful. That's cool. Well, one of the things that I learned when I was looking up grit was, like you said, it's courage in the face of something really uncomfortable. But what I didn't know was when the word was brand new and it was just originating, that it was first associated with battle. And so it was a heroic event in a battle that was going to crush you. A battle that was so intense. And it really, the word itself comes from a root of crushing.
Isn't that how it feels when we're going through hard stuff? Yeah,
it does. It feels like you're just being crunched, like the millstone. You're just being ground. And it's said in the definition. I got it from vocabulary.com. I hope it's reputable. It seemed very reputable to me.
Sounds
but
good.
It said in the definition that most of the time valor is you're given a medal for valor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was synonymous with grit. And so I'm kind of wondering what kind of medal comes from grit? There's grace in it, but is there grace after it as well? What do we get coming out of that grit?
Think about a badge of honor. What does that look like? What does that badge of honor look like for you specifically? And where would you wear it? Would you wear it on a hat? Would you put it on your lapel? Would you put it on a lanyard and put it around your neck? I mean, where would you wear that badge of honor?
I love that. Maybe in your smile. Could be a good place for a badge of honor. Yeah.
On your heart, right? On your heart.
On your heart. Yeah. I know my boys, they got those scouting awards, and they were always on their pocket or their, right there by their heart.
Were you a good mom and sewed the badges on for your sons, or?
Well, I have 6 boys, so it's kind of a long story. I dutifully taught my first sons to sew them on themselves and sat with them and made sure they had sewing skills. The second set of sons, I sewed them on with the sewing machine. The next batch, I used stitch witchery, and Jared's, we stapled.
I should have stapled. I
Staples
honestly,
were the gift. We just stapled those badges on, and I'm like, dude, if you want to do them for your eagle, because they all got their eagles. Then so it was like, if you want to sew them on for your eagle, I'll help you for the eagle. But for now, we're using the stapler. We're just going to staple these babies on.
I used duct tape. It didn't work very well. And I tried gluing, and so my second son, Tyler, was totally into Scouts. I don't know if your husband was at all, Jen, but yeah, so Tyler was really into Scouts and he just loved it. In fact, if he was in trouble, nothing really seemed to matter to him, but we would ground him from getting to go to Scouts. That was the one thing that mattered to that kid.
Oh, wow.
And so anyway, he just keeps telling the story of, guess what my mom did? Your mom sews yours on? And his are falling off during the award ceremonies. It's like,
it's cool that you bring up scouting though, because do you remember the scouting, the code for scouting? A scout is helpful, kind, honest, I can't remember them all. Trustworthy, honest. Yeah. And a lot of those relate to the grit that it takes to get into scouting, or to the valor that the boys are encouraged to have. I liked that. Yeah. Ours, we always added the last one with scouting and hungry, because they were always hungry. Brave was in there too, and I associate brave with grit. And that valor.
And I think we go through those times we're in and out of those times when we have to have the grit. I mean, Jen, you just went through some you just went through some many times, right?
And I was thinking about this, and just because of the word grit also means something different to me, because I refurnish furniture. And so as I was thinking about it, I was like, the times in my life when I need to use grit, like in my personal life, is I'm going through something hard, and all the stuff that you talked about, like with the bravery and the courage and like that. But during that time, I almost feel like I'm being sanded. I'm the grit and sandpaper. There's different courses. I mean, something is happening to smooth me over. And I think well, that's also when I become the better version of me, or I can conquer whatever I'm trying to grit myself through. So as I was thinking about this afternoon, I was like, I see grit as also a process of becoming, of smoothing ourselves out, of becoming. And if you think also about like the pearl, like it starts as a little sandpaper that annoys, or a little piece of sand that annoys, and then it becomes that smooth, beautiful thing. So to me, grit means different things, where I need to use my perseverance and grit, and like just push myself through But in the process, I feel like I am being rubbed down by a piece of sandpaper that has like a 80% grit on it. And I'm just really sloughing stuff off, So that's kind of what I've been thinking about.
Beautiful. I love that.
Follow that analogy just a little bit with the beauty of the wood that comes out with each successive, sanding as the grit becomes finer and finer and takes off more and more of the rough edges until it's just smooth as skin, right?
Yes, it's
and
being refined. Gorgeous. So it's like, yes.
Refined. Yeah.
And it smells good too. Once you get all that junky stuff up, think about it. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm stinky when I'm going through a bunch of yucky stuff. I just need to slap it all off so I can smell good again. I don't know. I do love the smell of fresh wood, like restored wood. Yeah, restored.
Yes, beautiful. Yeah, I love it. Well, it's going to be fun to talk about stories this month then. Friendship February.
Friendship February. Yeah.
Friendship February. So, let's talk about some of the women that we know that are grit and grace-filled women. We talked about venerable women who know stuff. They've been around long enough to know stuff. They're women that are wise and that are worthy of our respect. And that's what I think of a woman with grace and grit. I think she is venerable. She deserves to be revered, Who do you know? Who do you know that would qualify like that? Who comes to mind when you think venerable women or women with grit and grace? I know when Jen and I were talking, she said Brene Brown came up for her.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. Think of Oprah. We've got women that are in the limelight who've been through things. Yeah.
I think of Maya Angelou. I remember seeing her give her poem at the presidential inauguration and thinking that it was just the most beautiful moment, and she really won my admiration. I didn't know her much before then. Or Soraya or Mary out of the scriptures. Absolutely venerable women. And then my current favorite is Karen Drucker, the chick who sings our theme song for the podcast.
Yeah.
She has been singing since she can remember. She worked her way all the way through the music business, and she's still singing and still helping people heal with her music. To me, that is such a beautiful display of that grace and grit. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of venerable women that we just don't know about because we don't know their story.
Yes.
And so I think these people that we're talking about, they're in the limelight. They're in, they're out in the public. So we know their story. So we can say that's what they are. But I think there's a lot around us that we just, if we knew their story and understood that, we would call them venerable also.
Absolutely. The mom with 2 kids in diapers. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. The mom that is struggling with those same 2 kids, 10 years later, and she's got 2 teenagers that she's all struggling with. There's a lot.
Just the people that are growing up, our ladies that have grown up in difficult, homes that, that's and gone through so many things and still come out and still love and still have grace and still, just shine, let their light shine.
The beautiful souls that struggle with anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful people, but it's so hard for them to be out around the other energies, around other people, because that anxiety feeling is so overwhelming. You're talking serious grit and beautiful grace. Yeah.
Those who have health challenges.
Yes, so many venerable women. Well, when I did the research on grit, I want to compare it to the research that you did on grit, Jacine, because there were several that were overlapping with what you learned and what I learned, the valor and the bravery. But one of the things that I came up against was persistence.
Yes.
That grit is persistent. And I really loved that. And resilient. Persistent and resilient. And when we look at the people that we've been talking about, the women who might be struggling with health issues, persistence is so important there, right? the willingness to get up every single day and still go. Or even more importantly, the willingness to be still and let your body heal and calm your thoughts instead of go, 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 you know? Yeah.
And
And
love
then there was
and love yourself through it, right?
yes, loving yourself through it,
Yeah.
because it doesn't do you any good to push. That is not the best act when you're sick. You got to take care of yourself and love yourself through it. Yeah. Okay. So it was, go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
One of the aspects you're talking about was women with grit. Also, they're not perfect.
No.
So, they're going to be able to say, I failed at this or I made a mistake, but they're persistent and they're resilient because they get up and do again and over again instead of just give up. So I think that's
they strive for excellence, right?
Yeah.
But they're not perfect.
But they're not perfect. But they understand that about themselves, so they'll continue to strive and they'll pull themselves up and try again and again and again.
Yeah. That long suffering, that patience that needs to be there.
And that loving kindness of themselves.
Yeah.
Self-compassion, loving kindness. Yeah. There's a lot more to grit than I thought when we got started.
I keep just going back, Jen, that you have this incredible gift of being able to create a picture in my mind. And I am so visual. And so like your descriptions of the sanding in my brain, in my mind's eye, I'm watching this process because I've done it. My grandfather was a carpenter and he did finished carpentry. He built, in some of the most famous hotels in Minnesota, he built like the bars that had the intricate carvings and stuff. Yeah. So he was just incredible. So wood has always it's a part of me, and like the trees and thank you for that picture. That's really cool. That's going to be like going through my mind all week. I'm going to be like sanding and smelling.
The grit. The grit of life.
Yeah. The grit. And love that. That is cool. Well, how can we help the ladies on 50/50 today with their grit? What can we offer going forward?
Well, I would hope that they would find that the 50/50 is a safe place, that we're all going through this together, and that some of us are going to have some insight or some words of encouragement that they can come to the place and post their story, and in hopes of camaraderie or even some insight. So that's my hope for the 50/50 group.
Yeah, that we can, it's a safe place to share. We can be each other's safe spot. I love that. Yeah, because when you're tired or you're a little discouraged, there's nothing like talking to a friend and just being able to dump that and leave it and just leave it and go back to your life without it. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. What were you going to say, JC? I heard you start.
I was thinking about book club too. Our 50/50 Girl Club has access to the book club. And we just finished Miracle Morning. And I had an incredible couple of miracle mornings as we were going through this book. And I just have to say, oh my gosh, if you haven't had a miracle morning, do it. Just get up and start your day with quiet, and then go into some visualizations and some affirmations. And if you don't know what all of that means, post it, ask us in the 50/50 Girl Club. Yeah, let's put it out there. If you want to know more about it, just ask, and we'd be happy to share with you. And then our February book is called The Mountain Is You. It's actually a very recent book that's been out. And it's by Brianna West, and it's transforming self-sabotage into self-mastery. Ladies, do you ever have self-sabotage? How do you talk to yourself? Have you paid attention? I mean, I never thought, I don't self-sabotage. And then somebody said, well, how do you speak to yourself? And I started paying attention, and I was like, oh
my goodness.
Yeah. So we'll get into that. We're just going to if you can just read the intro or just actually get the book by Wednesday, it's no, that's 1:30. I was going to give you Pacific time. It's 1:30 Central Time. Yeah. And just join us. Yeah, the link will be in the 50/50 Girl page.
Jacine,
Yeah.
My book wasn't supposed to come till the end of the week, so I got the Audible and I started listening to it. I am all about this book. So this is
everything we do.
Book.
Yeah.
And it puts it, I mean, all the stuff that we do, it just is so concise. And I'm like, oh, please read this book. It's going to help you understand yourselves and understand that you can overcome anything. This book is just amazing. I love this book.
Well, and it will be perfect to bring to Coach and Clear.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
the things we do in Coach and Clear are going to help you move those mountains.
Yes.
It's that all of that self-sabotage and the things that we're working on with Coach and Clear, it's just perfect together. It was just a really, really good choice for the book. I started it today as well. Really
it's wonderful.
impressed.
And Wendy, who is part of our book club, she let us know last week that she found it on YouTube for free. So
wow.
She can listen to it on YouTube. I don't know if she has a YouTube subscription, but she said it's on YouTube. You can just go to YouTube and listen to it. So I was like, oh, so just so you guys know, there you go. No,
that's great. No cost. Yeah, that's awesome.
But I would hope that you'll get the book because you want to reference it and just keep working on yourself. Because as I was listening to it, I was like, I'm not going to remember everything. So I was happy my book actually came today. So I'm excited.
Lucky.
Good one. And one more wonderful thing coming up this month or this week, Saturday. Jen, tell us about Amazing Saturday.
Okay, so our jumpstart on Saturday is I'm going to be teaching you some tools, because every time we have a jumpstart, I'm going to be teaching you a tool to use to help you either release something, overcome something, or have more peace or calm in your life. It's just another thing to add to your toolbox so that you can help yourself. And so we're going to learn a kinetic release through doodling. And then I'm going to teach you some other stuff through drawing and actually some color. So you're going to have some stuff that you can do. But once again, you have to use them for them to, be beneficial for you. And I believe in these tools. I use them all the time. In fact, in this past month, I was able to use tapping, which we taught back a few months ago, to actually get myself through some pretty intense emotional stuff. And it was amazing how just getting my nervous system back online, how I was able to show up differently in the drama. So use the tools. They will help you.
Use the tools, the inner imagery too. That imagery that you've been teaching us is huge. Yeah, it is so helpful to me. And I know if I get myself out of whack, if I can just excuse myself for just 1 or 2 minutes, and do the imagery in my mind in a quiet space, it really makes a difference. And the tapping, I love tapping. It's the best. But I'm super excited about doodling because I love paper and crayons and markers. And it's the little kid in me. I just love it. It's going to be so fun.
So come with paper, come with colored pencils, crayons,
markers.
Okay.
Your favorite ink pen.
Yeah, your favorite ink pen. Yeah.
And invite people, you guys. This is to share. This Jumpstart is to share. So please invite friends who you think might benefit from this. It's Friendship February.
Friendship February. That's right. Bring a friend. I love that. And the link is going to be right at the top of the page on the 50/50 page. It's pinned to the top of the page. So it's real easy to get there. Just bring a friend and come. And I don't know if we'll go the whole 2 hours or if we'll just start at 9 and end when we end, but we'll see, right?
We'll see.
Yeah. And you know what the beautiful thing is Saturday morning, you can come in your pajamas. It's the best.
And
don't even have to get dressed up.
It'll be 7 a.m. where I am. So y'all.
Oh, good. You will come in your pajamas.
Yes, I will.
And bring your cocoa and we will just settle in and draw pictures and learn about kinetic releasing. Really, really good stuff. For the girls that are in the creator-based year, we do have a creation event on Thursday night. So just those of you who are a part of that creator-based year, that year-long study where we go through all of these amazing tools, and help you learn how to do a creator-based life, we're going to have that creation event. It's our quarterly event. So it'll be this Thursday, 7 Central. It's a busy week around here.
Yay!
All kinds of beautiful things for these incredible, venerable women filled with grit and grace. So y'all have a beautiful week. Thanks for sharing. And JC, I guess we'll do story time next Monday, 3:00, same time.
We will. And this time will be story time. The last 3 weeks will be actually interviews. So, yep.
It's gonna be awesome. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
The way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree/CMHcoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Whoa, day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. What you thinking? 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 You gotta watch your